Hi everyone, my name is Phyllis and I'm the owner of Mad Moody Quilting Fabrics, and I am doing a tutorial on needle turn applique. Now if you want to follow along, you can go and get this pattern free on my website and you can download it, print it, and start following along. So this is my fifth filming. My fifth tutorial. The last tutorial, it's in two parts. It was a long one, so I'm going to try to keep this one a little short. And, ooh, I'm finding edges. There we go. I have a tendency to pull out threads. It's like I hate threads on top. Okay, so let's get going, okay? So last time we talked about this section and how to put these bias. I've shown how to do all the different steps. So now we are at the last stem is going in, and I wanted to show you how I go around the stem. So and how I've already shown you how to prep your stems in one of the past videos. So now we're going to go around. So I've sewn down this edge. Let me just get my little ring needle pin cushion on my fingers so I can take these out as I go. So I'm going to just do the last stitch here, and I'm going to go straight into the back and go around to the back, and then I'm going to do a couple of stitches behind the bias tape, the stem, that because I don't want this to show, and then I'm going to come back, turn this around and come back and go down the other side. So we're going to come up in here, and I take those little stitches so I take these little stitches here that you saw me do, so I don't, when I go from here and come up to the other side, it doesn't get pinched in. I don't want it to pinch in like that. I want it to keep it flat. So that's why I take these couple of stitches in the center, so the jump is not a big jump across, and this way I don't end up having these big stitches. So now we're going to go down the other side. See, this is all the raw edges underneath. I have folded edges so I can just go down. And I'm going to show you, I meant to show it to you in the last lesson, but it was getting long. And so now I'm going to show you that I don't take small tiny stitches. The stitch that I take that is small is the stitch from going from this fabric into the background. I want to take only a little bit of a chunk of the fabric that I am appliquing down. This way your stitches will disappear, and if you've matched your thread nicely, you should have them completely disappear. And I'm not wanting to take tiny stitches. I am taking a stitch that is probably just over and less than a 1/4 inch along. So if you look at the back here, you can see these stitches are quite long behind. I don't want to do tiny stitches. I want to do stitches that are quite long on the back. So basically they're anywhere between 1/8 of an inch to maybe just over 1/8 of an inch along the back side. This way you don't have to do tiny stitches almost side by side. The only thing that is tiny is that crossbar stitch before you travel underneath to the next stitch. And I really don't know if you can see that. I hope you can see it. I'm trying to... Okay, this pin is getting in my way. So you see that I use a pin cushion that goes on my finger because I don't want to do long long movements. I want to keep everything in my hands if I can. This thread is almost finished. There we go. And they're done. And then, of course, I'm going to tie off in the back, but behind the fabric, that the stem that I just, because I don't want these tie-off stitches to show. All right, so we're going to just trim that. I'm just going to trim that a little bit more. That's a little bit more because I don't want a long thing. And that goes away. Now we're going to move on to the next thing. So now this section is completely done. So now we're going to put on, I'm going to show you how to do the circles, and that's what I'm going to do now. So now we have a circle. I'm doing this circle. This is slightly bigger. This is the freezer paper. It is it is ironed down onto the front of the fabric because that's what I want. I'm going to cut this into a circle and rough cut it. It doesn't have to be pretty. And then we're gonna take a needle, and I'm gonna get, and I always do these last, and the reason why is because I want to prep, I want to go through this prep and place it down all with the same same thread. So I'm going to choose a thread that matches, and I think this one is close enough. Yeah. So I want to choose a thread that matches, and of course I had my needle and now I don't know where I'll put it. Okay, well I'll just take this one. Hopefully I won't sit on it. Oh my god. I have two needles going and I keep swapping out. So anyways, so we're going to get this threaded. There we go. Yeah, it's threaded. And what we're going to do is we're going to baste around the outer edge of the raw edge. So we're going to go in here and we're going to baste along here. And the basting stitches, I take over 1/8 of an inch, but under 1/4 inch. I don't do big basting stitches. I need them fairly small, and I just fold the fabric onto the needle and baste around. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be, the stitches have to be small enough so we can gather it up nicely. So we're going to baste around this. Until we get to the other side, and then I'm going to show you how I put this on. Almost there. And Oopsie daisy. Oh, I grabbed, oh dear. Okay, so I'm going to undo this quickly because we don't want this undone. All right, I got to rethread my needle. There we go, and we're going to continue. It just kind of grabbed the loop, and that's not what we want. We want it to keep it all smooth or it wouldn't gather. And there we are. We're back at the top. Okay, so now we basted around, and we're going to take, this is cardstock. Okay, and we're going to go in and put it inside. And then we're going to pull the thread and get it nicely basted. We're going to pull that basting thread, and it's going to get gathered up onto the cardstock. Now at this point, I don't have my iron, but at this point we could hit it with an iron to set that seam, that fold, and everything, but I don't have my iron, so I'm just going to go and do a stitch right there so it doesn't come undone and cut and stuff. Okay, now, and then I'm going to slide my needle out to the fold. I'm going to go underneath and pull the needle out to the fold. I want it at the fold, making sure I don't do another knot. There we go. Okay, so it's at the fold. Now we're going to place it into this little section. Okay, so let me get this dealt with, and I need my tweezers to do this. Where are my tweezers? Oh, there they are. All right, so I just line it up, and I'm going to go ahead and put a pin in there through everything. I'm going to check it again. Yeah, that looks good. Everything's lining up nice. And then I'm going to go ahead and sew that down. Okay? So, you know what? I'm right-handed. I have this going in the wrong direction. Because I don't need to sew the section of the circle that is in the is going to be covered with this flower. So I've gone and I placed it wrong. So let's get this, and because I'm right-handed, I go in only one direction. So I need to make sure that my thread is in the direction, is on the side of where I would want to go. So I'm going to sew from here to here. So I'm going just to slip that underneath a little further. So my thread is out over here a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and pin this down, and there we go. I'm going to double check it, and that looks nicely lined up. And then we're going to go ahead and sew this down. Now I'm already in this fabric here. Now I probably could remove this, so I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to go across, and I'm going to come up, and I'm just going to, do not go through the cardboard. We don't want to grab the cardboard because we're going to remove that once we sew this down. So we don't want to grab the cardboard. We want to just take the fabric. And we're going to sew along. And here we go. There we go. We're almost to the edge of where we want to hide it. And like I said, we don't have to sew the whole circle down, and the reason is because we're going to be putting a flower shape on top of this circle. And now I'm just going to double check to make sure that I've sewn enough past the flower, which I have not. So I am going to continue doing a couple of more stitches. I'm right at that edge, so I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of more stitches into, so I know that my piece is past. There we go. So now I'm going to go to the back. I'm going to go across and into the back of this piece, and I'm going to tie this off and knot it right there. And there we are. So that's tied. I'm just going to put that away. Now where's my scissors? And then I'm going to take out the cardboard. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of that. We don't need that. This is not sewn down because this flower is going to come and cover it. Okay. So, but I need to get the cardboard out of there. So we're going to fold the cardboard. We're going to go in and just kind of work the cardboard out. And this is why we don't want to grab the cardboard. And now this can get put back. It doesn't have to be perfect here because what are we doing? We're covering it. So now that's ready. And we're going to take this flower. Let me just turn this around so I'm in the right direction. And we're going to get this flower put in. And I line up the freezer paper to the drawing. And I'm going to put in a couple of these. And another one I think I need. Right here. And I'm going to just double check to make sure it didn't shift on me. And that is how you prep your circles. So you would do the same thing once these are all on, and we're going to continue with the lesson. Next lesson is going to be putting this flower on, and maybe prep, if we have time, prepping the leaves, these leaves. And these flowers will be the last flowers I do, and I'll show you how we prep that. But in the meantime, I want you to finish anything that you haven't done. Finish this stuff. Prep this one circle, because we're going to prep these again. I'm going to show you when I get to these circles how they're done. Like I said, I like to use a matching thread, prep the circle, pull it in, and right away start sewing them down, because this way I don't have to change threads out. I use the same thread for basting as I would to sew, so you would match your thread. So that is it for today. If you want to see more of these videos, subscribe below. I will put links down below to get the patterns and everything if you haven't already downloaded your pattern and you haven't already started your block. I hope that this is something that interests you, because I would like to do more of this kind of work. and more of these kind of tutorials for everybody. So let me know in the comments, or let me know by email that you're following along. If you want to get the paper piecing, I could put together a kit and for a cost, and you can order them on my website, but I need to know ahead of time if you want me to go to the trouble of making a kit to do these for all the freezer papers, so that way you don't have to trace those out. So happy quilting, everybody. We'll see you next lesson. Bye.